yeah, we're not dropping names. We're just spilling a little bit of tea.
Even though, like, one day I would love to just drag some people, but good intention.
Hi, I'm D.
And I'm G.
And welcome to Tea with D and G.
Dogs in the back.
The dogs are always in the frame. I mean, they're just like the stars of the show at this point. But cheers. We have our tea. It's piping hot. I don't think I'm even going to try this time.
No.
Today we want to talk to you guys about karma. We want to talk about karma.
Law of karma.
The law of karma.
Yeah.
It is one of the Hermetic principles, if you know what those are. There are 7 of them. Karma is one. They come from the emerald tablets written by Hermes.
I did not know that.
Or Thoth, whatever you want to call him. But he's like, you know, who wrote a lot of like ancient religious texts and things like that.
Go like this. My lip liner from the transferred onto your lip.
Cute. Anyways, yeah, emerald tablets, Thoth, Hermetic principles, karma is one of them.
What goes around comes around, and you reap what you sow, and that's really real.
That's really the tea.
It's really the tea.
And I think it's beautiful when life shows you that. And I think it's also beautiful that the higher of the frequency that you radiate at, the easier it is to navigate things like this, because when you really know and you really surrender to the outcome, you have the ability to rise above, send love their way instead of hate. And when you do that, when you choose to do that, when you choose to forgive and when you choose to love, karma takes care of everything for you. Like, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to act out of hate. You don't have to act out of
character.
Because whatever is coming to them is already coming to them. It's not your place. Whatever you do to them isn't going to hurt them as bad as what God's going to teach them anyways. So you might as well just leave it up to God.
Yeah. We've both been in situations recently that, you know, we just feel like people got their karma. You know, we both know and understand how protected we are in the spiritual realm by God, of course, but we also have guardian angels that are looking over us, really close friends that we've both lost that are, you know, they're your angels now, and your loved ones turn into your guides, and, you know, they protect you. And, you know, I just feel like we both have that understanding. So we've just been in situations where people have kind of, you know, tried to snake us and go behind our back and do things with ill intention and try to hurt us, and it just gets thrown right back into their face 10 times worse. And that's
so gratifying.
It is really gratifying.
We didn't do anything to these people. Like, in their ill intent towards us, we, you know, haven't talked to these people, like, been moving in our own way.
Yeah.
And so when God takes care of it for you, you're
it
like,
feels so good.
oof. And especially like in my situation, I had personally been feeling so much guilt because I thought it was my fault, like the reason that it was happening. And I had been given a sign, like a little birdie told me something.
We love a little birdie.
And I kind of thought that it was true. But today confirmed it. And you know, man, it just feels so good when you thought you were wrong and you were feeling guilt towards something. And what's crazy is I forgave this situation last night, and I sent it love and I forgave it like fully. Like, I was taking a shower last night and I like had this moment about this situation. And today is my angel's anniversary of death, 5 years. And so when I woke up this morning, I heard some tea. I was spilled some tea.
Your angel said, that, babes, let me serve you real quick. Here's a nice cup.
And it's so funny because when this happened and I talked to the person, I said, man, I hate to say it, but karma's a bitch. And this person literally said, facts, you deserve to say that.
They agreed. They're like, girl, you was not wrong.
They said, facts.
Let me
You deserve to say that.
Yeah.
I said, okay. Thank you, universe, for that affirmation, that confirmation, that confidence.
I think it's
I
crazy when dealing with insecure and ill-intended, I don't even know if that's a saying, but that's what I'm gonna go for.
Ill-intended, yeah,
when
for
you're
sure.
dealing with like insecure, ill-intended people, it's crazy how much that them projecting onto you can make you feel their guilt, you know, like how much what they're doing to you, like you're feeling it and you start to believe what they're projecting onto you. And so you were feeling all this guilt. I mean, I was also feeling guilt in a situation myself, and so I get it. You feel all this guilt just to realize that like I'm literally just taking on your energy and the energy you're projecting towards me. And so it feels good when you're able to like release that and send them their energy. Like that's you, that's your energy that you need to deal with. Like it's not mine to carry. It's almost like we're so powerful and we're such light beings that we end up carrying other people's weight and other people's like demons and other people's shadows, because like they like attach themselves to us in a way. Like we end up carrying it. And
I think the power that both of us have in like our own aspect and our own regard is that we can transmute energy very well.
100%.
And so people see that and they're like, oh, like I could really use this. Like the way she takes on my pain and holds it and holds space for it and gives it to the universe in this way. Like a lot of people don't do that. And
not at all.
We are healers naturally, and I think that now that we're stepping into that, you know, we can see it so much more clearly. But I've always been doing that for people, like just like
so have I.
My friends and family and like my loved ones and strangers and everyone. Like I naturally gravitate towards, like, strangers will tell me their biggest, like,
we're empaths for sure.
Yeah.
We pick up on other people's energy and we're able to carry it and transmute it. And I think with us, we just have to really be mindful and aware of that and know when to like send it back and put it down. You know what I mean? Like
boundaries.
Boundaries, yeah, because not everybody's stuff is worth carrying. If they're not gonna help in carrying yours in some way, you know, or be there for you, like it's just not. It's not mutually beneficial, and that's when it's not healthy for you anymore.
Yes.
When it becomes one-sided.
And I agree with you, and I think boundaries are so important. They're the highest form of self-love. I think that when you stick to your boundaries and you're disciplined in that regard, you are rewarded amply. Like it's like when you stick to something that you know is good for you and you're really disciplined in that, and you set these boundaries and you tell yourself that you're not going to mess with this type of person again because you've seen the red flags before, and when they appear again you're going to be smarter this time around. And like this is kind of what we're talking about.
You get tested.
Yeah, and this is what we're kind of talking about when it comes to evolve or repeat, because it's like you're faced with these circumstances and you go through these trials and tribulations, and the reason why you're going through them is so that the next time this comes around, you notice the patterns and you're able to remove yourself earlier on, to not go through the heartache again and the turmoil again, to recognize it earlier on and to save yourself from that deep, deep pain. Because regardless, yes, the situation may bring some pain. It might be really hard to let go of this person or this situation or this environment, you know, like whatever you're attached to, it can be really hard to let go. And so like when you're and change is a scary thing, and it's scary for everyone's scared of change. Like you're not alone in that. And like I just think it's so important to know that you are capable of that change, and that beyond fear is growth. And when you take the time to grow, then you're not going to repeat the same lessons again, because growing is evolving. And so like this is what I'm saying, how it all comes full circle. It's like you are presented with opportunities to either grow from or repeat the lesson again.
Yeah. And I wanted to add to that and say, like, it might take you over and over and over to finally let go of that thing. Because I know for me, like, I've been in this cycle that I was in for a very, very, very long time. But just don't give up on your cycle. Like, don't give up on it. If it takes you like 20 times to fall on your ass and figure it out, get up every single time, you know? Like, that's my biggest lesson is I haven't given up, and I'm really proud of myself for that. I haven't been like fuck it and just settled. You know what I mean? I haven't been like, okay, I'm just gonna stop. I can't handle it anymore. I'm just gonna stay in this toxic relationship and let it kill me because I'm afraid to change. Like, I have to really push myself and know that, like, if I break this, like, beautiful things are gonna come from it. Like, no matter how hard it is. Like, just don't give up. If it takes you over and over, just don't give up, okay? It's so worth it. It's so worth it.
And, like, sometimes we just need certain people to teach us certain lessons. Sometimes we can only learn that lesson, like, in its entirety from that person. And so we have to be grateful for them, and we have to send them love, and we have to have unconditional love, like, just in life in general. And so, like,
I feel like that's why this is so kind of random, but dating is really important, and opening yourself up to
I agree.
dating people.
Being vulnerable.
Being vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I don't mean dating like everybody thinks dating and you're in a relationship and you're hooking up. Like, it doesn't have to be like that, but just being vulnerable with people and allowing people to be a reflection for you, because that's how you're gonna learn. I feel like I've learned the most in relationships. It sucked to have to, I've gone through almost too many to get to, you know, breaking the cycle, but it was enough, you know what I mean? Like, I appreciate each one, and I feel like it's important to just be vulnerable.
It's important to date. It's important to love that deeply. It's important to care about someone so much, and, like,
you have to take the risk and put yourself out there.
You have to take the risk of love and trust and faith in another person, because it's okay if they hurt you. It's okay if they knock you down. They're letting you know that they're not your person. Because the person that's supposed to stand by your side through all of life's battles is going to handle you with grace, is going to respect you, is going to show you your worth, is going to make you a better version of yourself. Like, if you're not experiencing that in your relationship, you can do better. And I'm not telling you to leave your person, but I want you to know that if you're unhappy, that there is someone better for you, and that, like, you have the strength to overcome it, and you have the strength to be alone in the period of time that it takes to find that person. But at the end of the day, like, you deserve to know that you're worthy, and you deserve to know that you're loved every day. And, like, you deserve what you desire. I'm not saying make a huge checklist and make sure this man checks every box, but in a healthy regard. Like, I want a high emotional intelligence because I want to be able to have deep connecting conversations and be able to work through disagreements with conversations rather than arguments, you know? Like, things like, I want financial stability. I want, you know, someone who believes in God. Like, you know, basic things that create a genuine good person are boundaries. Like, those should be your boundaries. Like,
and it's okay to have them, and it's okay to try with somebody, and if it doesn't work, you can agree to disagree or find the lesson and keep moving. Like, pain is sometimes the thing you need to grow. Like,
it's always the thing. Growth is always painful.
Yeah, like,
always.
It's always like, as you grow, you have growing pains physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally,
all of it.
So you kind of just can't be afraid to get your heart broken. You gotta, like, put yourself out there, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, you learn something. It's never an L, it's always a lesson. And T. And yeah, I agree. I feel like you should just never settle, never give up on yourself. I see so many people in my life who are older, who I see them just settling for relationships because they just even young, like, just didn't have the strength to keep growing and get what they deserve. And I just feel like that's not living a fulfilled life. You know, you're not giving yourself a fair chance by giving up. Failure, you only fail when you stop trying. You know, that's when you fail. Just because if the relationship ended, that's not a failure. You tried. Like, that's a win. You took a risk, and you that's a W.
You put yourself out there. You were vulnerable. You gave it your all. And, like, that's the thing, though. Can you say that even? Can you say you were vulnerable? Can you say you gave it your all? Like, maybe that's what's missing in your relationship.
Right.
If you're in a relationship currently right now and it's not working, sit down with your partner, meditate with them, write down how you feel in this relationship currently, and share it with each other.
Communicate. Bro, there should be like once a week, like, weekly check-ins in your relationship.
Weekly, for sure.
That you talk everything out, because resentment is real. Like, if you don't let out the things that hurt you, even if it's the smallest things, and talk about it. Those resentments and those walls you build up, you start disrespecting each other and not being honest with each other. You almost,
they get higher and higher and
you start
higher.
to not even recognize the person you fell in love with anymore because you're not telling them how you really feel.
Yup.
So
and it's on you.
Yeah.
It's on you.
Communication.
If this resonates with you,
and if they're
you're
telling you your feelings are
problem.
too much, they're not the one for you.
Exactly.
They're like, oh, you always coming to me and complaining. If they turn every conversation into an argument, they're not the one for you.
They're not the one for you. But also, take a look at yourself and how you're approaching the conversation. Don't approach the conversation with fighting energy, you know? Like, when you bring up... She's like, tea.
My tea.
So when you bring up this thing that you're feeling this type of way about, bring it up to them after you've already thought about it and sorted it out with yourself and your God, because if you don't take the time to do that first and you act out of emotion, it's probably going to end up in a fight no matter what it is. And it doesn't matter if they respect you as a person or not. If you come with that energy, they're going to match that energy because that's what you're bringing to the table. And that's how humans work.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, in my previous relationships I've tended to come a little strong because I wait. Like, my problem is, like, I'm not having the conversations once a week, you know? Like, I wait until I can't take it anymore, and then I blow up and it just comes out irrational, and it's like I seem crazy, but it's because I kept everything in. So I learned that in my previous relationships, and moving forward, I'm like, weekly check-ins have to be a thing for me because I don't want to blow up. I don't want to get violent. I don't want to start yelling. I don't want to get out of character. I've let some people take me out of character, and it took me a long time to forgive myself because I know that's not me. So yeah,
I just think it's important in general to really just be aware of how someone is making you feel. And if you like really feel that insecure towards them, that you are feeling these toxic ways, like that's a red flag. Acting out of character, like, yes, you need to analyze something within yourself and like figure out why you're acting this way, but what is this person doing to make you feel this way? And can you communicate it with them in a soft way to where they can understand you? Can they hear you? Can they really resonate with the issue? Because if they can't, then like, you know, if you can bring it up softly and like you can work it through, that's one thing. But if you can't, then it's like, okay, we need to like agree to disagree so we can move forward, or we need to figure out what we're doing in our relationship. And I just feel like I was gonna say something about your weekly check-in thing. So with my ex, we did something where we would go out in nature and like either microdose or dose high with psilocybin and just like have a day. Like, we would hike, we would set up camp and like hang up our hammocks and like just journal and really get deep with each other. I mean, cry together. And we did this like once a month. And weekly check-ins are important. Some people say, like, if you live together, have your your daily check-ins over your cup of coffee in the morning, or before you go to bed at night.
At bedtime, have a cup of tea and be like, hey baby, spill the tea. What you been going through? How you been feeling?
Communication is key in all relationships, not just with your partner.
Friendships,
with your boss, with your friendships, with your coworkers, with your family. Like, communication is always key. And you can, here's the main thing I think, the reason why communication is so difficult for most people is because they think that this other person is never going to understand them. You're assuming that, which if you've seen in our other video, that's one of the 4 agreements. Don't make assumptions. So don't make assumptions, first of all. But second of all, we're assuming that it's going to go bad, that they're going to, you know, react in a certain way. But we are all more alike than we are different.
Amen.
And we tend to forget that as humans, but like, our DNA is very similar, like we function very similarly, like we have similar needs, we have similar desires, and like a very broad aspect. Like, in a whole sense, as humans, we have so much more in common than we have different. And we tend to forget that. And at the end of the day, if you can't find commonality with someone, I think it's your fault. Unless this person is absolutely like, you know, not willing to cooperate. That's a different story. But I mean, if they're willing to cooperate with you and you guys are trying, like, I think you should always be able to find common ground, even if you can just agree to disagree. and still love each other anyways, because at the end of the day, differences help you to know what you like and what you want. Failure helps you to know what you want more.
So, as you guys can see, my hair is different now. She's a blondie.
We're twins.
She got the inches. And I just wanted to talk about hair and how sacred it is to me, and how I believe in transmuting energy through hair. Our hair holds so much energy, you know, it's like literally attached to our crown chakra. So everything we're downloading, feeling, thinking, it gets transferred into our hair. So one of my favorite ways to transmute energy, when I've just gone through something, I've gone through an era, a stage in my life, and it comes to an end, I like to switch my hair up. So I want to like insert some clips of like different hairstyles I've had, because I've done a lot. Like 2 years ago I had no hair. I did the whole buzz cut, big forehead and all. I didn't give a fuck. So
it actually looked really cute on her,
so,
I will say.
Yeah, I feel like I needed to just transmute some energy. I had my long like black hair for a couple months and went through a rocky, very transformative, reflective situation, and at the end of it, I was like, it's time to switch it up. And blonde hair, to me, I've gone blonde a couple times. I've done like 2 different shades of blonde, never like this little honey blonde I got going on. But blonde to me is just represents like hope and optimism, and just stepping into a light space, stepping into my light self, my femininity a little bit more. Me and my therapist, we talk about color theory a lot, and how whatever colors you wear, whether that's on your hair, your clothes, your nails, it can all really like harness a certain energy. Like when I first started therapy, I had red hair, and at the time I was really angry. And then after that I had the black hair, and at that time I was just kind of going through like some shadow work, like really like having to face myself. So the blonde for me is just a level up, an elevation, just getting back to my light self.
Vibrating on a higher frequency.
Yeah, vibrating on a higher frequency. And I just always love my blonde hair. Blondes have more fun. Like, it's true. Like,
blondes do it
good
better.
Things happen to me when I have blonde hair. So, yeah. I just wanted to share that tea.
I love that. I think it's powerful to have like certain tools in your toolbox that you can utilize to transmute your own energy.
Yeah, I always recommend to people, like, if you're going through something in your life, I mean, it's easier for me to change my hair because I'm able to do extensions and keep my natural hair regular. But I always be the one to be like, go get a piercing, go get a tattoo, don't be afraid to express yourself in these ways, because it does really transmute energy. Like, I got my belly button pierced in California a couple weeks ago, and I was going through kind of the similar thing, and right after I got it pierced, I got in the car and cried and released so much, because it was like I took the pain that was in my soul and my heart and kind of transmuted it into something like really cute and pretty, and you know, like, I don't know.
I think that's just awesome. And like there's so many ways to do that, and there's so many outlets for that, and so I encourage you to find your own outlet and you know, find something that resonates with you, whatever small change. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Like,
I'm not saying like go get super tatted. Like, I do the things that I know works for me.
Yeah,
you know?
of course. And we're all different and individual people, and we're all gonna have our things that work for us. For some people it could literally be like rearranging their living room or their bedroom, like, you know, do some feng shui in the place. Like, it could be something so simple like that, like literally just to like move your energy around. Like, there's so many outlets for just like transmuting energy, and you have to find what works for you. And I really believe that, like, if you allow yourself to observe the situation like we've been talking about and just experience it for what it is, you will find the path of least resistance and a way to transmute that. It will come to you. You'll find it. And we all have, you know, outlets for that. And I'm sure we all have the devil on our shoulder also telling us horrible outlets for that. We were literally at the grocery store tonight to get energy drinks so that we could do this, and we almost bought a bottle of wine.
And then at checkout there was like a little bottle of vodka that somebody bought and left there,
like left behind.
So we were really being tested to like drink, and like,
and it was, and one of her friends called her and invited us out, and I I'm glad we didn't.
Yeah,
Because
same.
we've been very productive today.
Same.
And we've had
We fought the fight and we won.
We won the battle.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's always going to be that temptation. And I think temptation is something, you know, we have to just choose to overcome because
it's everywhere.
Instant gratification is not as satisfying as the longevity of the gratification you receive when you work towards something.
Amen.
And so it's important to remember that, like, yes, while you can take all the time in the world to get your mind right and to do all of these things and to believe all of these things, if you're not putting in the physical work, we live in a physical reality. Like, you know, if you're not actually, you know, doing the things. So it's one thing to know what you should be doing. It's another thing to implement those actions. Like, you know how people say always trust somebody's actions over their words? That's because your actions really show who you are and who you're showing up as. You don't get what you want, you get what you are. Amen. So if you are that thing, that vehicle that's pushing you towards success and pushing you towards your purpose and serving others in some way, then like you're gonna reap all the benefits of that. Like that's just karma. That's just, and back to the beginning, that's just karma. And that's the good side of it.
Karma's not a bitch, she's fair. I like that saying.
I like that too, because
she is fair.
She is fair. And that's literally what that person said to me today. Like, fair. Anyways, yeah, we're not dropping names. We're just spilling a little bit of tea.
Even though, like, one day I would love to distract some people, but good intentions.
Good intentions only. God has his own ways of working out their karma for them.
God gonna always spin the block for us, baby. He gonna spin
highly
the block
divinely
for us.
protected in every
he said,
way,
come on,
shape, and
passenger
form.
princess, I'm gonna whip this around for you. Don't
I said, Jesus, take the wheel. He said, okay, girl, I got you.
He said, skirt, skirt.
We all up in here. We cruising. We get into the destination. Don't worry, baby, but it's about the journey.
God gonna spin the block about me. And it might not be when you want it to, but no, it's gonna happen. You can't force it.
That is a huge point to make, honestly, right now, just about everything. And like in general, just know in life that like you can work so hard for something and you can put your all into it, but until you're in full alignment with it, you won't receive it. And to be in full alignment with it is to know that it's already yours.
Your time is gonna come. And
time is so irrelevant. It doesn't matter how late you are to the game, because the fact that you showed up to play is the point.
That one hit my soul, baby. I think you need to say that one more time for the people in the back that did not hear you.
Doesn't matter if you're late to the game, because you showed up to play and you're ready.
Even if you benched, you there.
If you're benched, you're there, and you showed up to support your team, no matter you were running late, you know, you got a flat tire, whatever the case may be. It doesn't matter what obstacles in your way. Show up anyway.
Show up.
And
show out.
Show up and show out, because you will reap the benefits. And just know that karma's always on your side if you're always acting in good intentions. You literally reap what you sow. And it's hard sometimes to take accountability. It's so much easier to play victim and be like, well, this happened to me. Well, this person did this.
You know what? Saying that, in therapy, my therapist told me this. She said, you have been living in victim mentality for 26 years. I just now broke out of victim mentality. She was like, it's bigger than you. She was like, you allow your pain and your sadness to become your story, and you sit in it because you're comfortable. But that does not have to be your story. Like, you can shift the narrative. And I've been in victim mentality for 26 years. Even in all these moments I thought I was holding myself accountable, I was still like attaching myself to that energy. You know what I mean? Like, even though I'm like, okay, well, I went wrong in this, I'm still holding on to the fact, okay, well, I went wrong in this. I'm holding myself accountable.
Forgive yourself.
Yeah, you have to forgive yourself.
Forgive yourself for holding on. Forgive yourself for making the mistake. Forgive yourself for loving the wrong person. Forgive yourself for
taking too long to walk away. Yeah.
I mean, whatever it is, just like Find it in your heart to forgive yourself, and with God's love, you can. You can forgive anything. He forgives us of our sins, and it doesn't matter how big the sin. I think you can always restart fresh. You
can
know?
always rebuild. It's never too late to rebuild.
It's never too late.
I'm completely like rebuilding my life right now, and I'm 26. Like, I'm like, you know,
same,
that quarter.
27.
I'm having that like quarter life crisis kind of, where I'm just like, okay, I gotta revamp some things because this isn't working anymore. So let's take the blocks down and build them back up.
But the first step of like rebuilding is having a solid foundation.
Yeah, you have to.
And in anything in life, it's having a solid foundation. And I think that like, it's really important.
Relationships especially.
Yes. And the main way you build a solid foundation is by like holding yourself 100% accountable and being in your truth and like really just having those hard conversations.
I feel like
having the hard conversations.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we already talked about this, but like, have the hard conversations. Have them. Because I promise you, they're not gonna go as bad as you think they're gonna go. Like, you're creating it in your minds. Like, you are, and I'm not coming for you because I do it too. And like, we all do it. Like, we all do it. It's so normal, and I just want you to know that it's normal, and I want you to know that like, you don't have to assume that though. Even though your mind's telling you that this is how it's gonna be, and you just know it. Like, you just know before it happens that this is how it's gonna be. Take that as your thought and your input and your past experience experiencing this current reality, because you are only thinking based on experience. Like, the way that your thoughts happen, literally the way that your thoughts happen, you experience your reality with your 5 senses. It goes into your left brain, where it gets interpreted by your neural pathways that are already there. How did they get there? They got there from your past experience, from your current beliefs. That's what they are. That's so when you see your current reality, you're basing it off of your past experience. Now that you know that, take a step back from your thoughts. Take a step back and observe them. And be like, okay, why do I feel this way? What's making me feel this way? What's triggering me? Why am I so emotional right now? Like, question your thoughts. Don't take your thoughts as facts, because they're just your observations of your current reality based on your past experience. They're not like truth. There's not truth in your thoughts. Like, just the input of thoughts, like, that's not truth.
That's why having conversation and like communicating is important, because you get a different perspective of your thoughts, and not everything you're thinking is right. Like you said, you have to have those hard conversations so somebody else can give you a different perspective. Yeah.
You're so stuck in your head right now on this hard conversation that you're so afraid to have, and it's eating you alive.
I got one person in mind right now.
Literally, and it's so many people, and I do it all the time too.
So many good friendships and connections and relationships are ruined because of poor communication. So many things.
All of them.
All of them.
All disagreements are based on poor communication, because like I've said before, we're all more alike than we are different. And like, that is so important to know. And it's so important to remember in those moments where you feel so distant from people or from someone or from a situation where you're like, I'm so alone in this, and like, no one could possibly understand, and this is certainly how it's gonna go. Like, check yourself and be like, okay, what have I experienced in the past that resonates with this experience that's making me feel this way? Okay, now I see why I feel this way. Okay, maybe this time it could be different. And maybe if I bring up how I'm feeling to someone in the situation, or my partner, who, whatever the situation is, like, maybe if I bring it up, then they'll understand that I'm feeling this way, and they'll make me feel more comfortable in the situation, because like, now I'm sharing this with someone, and now they know, and I'm not alone in it. And if they love you, truly, if they love you, and you come to them in a soft way, then they will. Yeah, approach is key.
It's not what you say, it's how you say it. My mom has told me that forever.
And it's those mom things that turn into wisdom when you get older.
Yeah, they'd be so cliche when you're younger. Like, okay, Mom. And now you're like preaching it to other people.
Literally, because once you have the wisdom to know the cliche and to know like its significance, then you're like, listen, this is true. But until you know it and you have the experience, you can't really relate to it. So anyways, point being, take accountability. Don't play victim. Approach communication with ease. Be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Communicate with love.
Just always come with good intentions because
because that's what you're receiving.
You reap what you
That's
sow.
what you're receiving.
That's what you're gonna get back.
And don't assume the worst. If you love someone, just try to give them the benefit of the doubt and try to hope that they will see you in your truth and understand you. And it is about approach and everything like that, but like, you have the power to overcome this obstacle if you believe in yourself and you believe that you can do it, and you believe that your partner loves you enough to hear you and understand you, or your friend or whoever, your coworker, I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
But believe in yourself and have good intent and move with love, and you will receive that in return.
Love. It's blue on the heart chakra. I mean the throat chakra.
Purr.
Purr. Oh, grr.
Oh, grr.
So that's all, folks. I'm just saying.
That's all, folks. So yeah, honestly though.
No, yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. I feel like we went over the last key points. We just want to reiterate that as long as you're following God and following his plan and his path for you, that you will always be divinely guided and protected, and you'll never have to stoop down to your enemy's levels, or you'll never have to lower your vibration. As long as you're following God and stay in your power, you'll always be protected.
And remember that when you do lower your vibration, you're just calling more of that energy in.
Yeah.
It's not benefiting you because God's taking care of it.
Yeah.
Their karma is coming to them by the actions they put out.
Yeah.
Your karma is coming to you by the actions you put out. So be careful how you respond to people, because it's like,
don't let shitty people ruin your heart.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we all have. You go through so much pain and you just want to get cold and jaded. Yeah. And then especially with women, we tend to like really get stuck in our masculine energy, and I feel like as women we deserve to live a soft life and not have to be so jaded and cold-hearted and never want to love again. So I feel like just try not to change your heart. Just make your boundaries stronger, but don't change yourself. Don't change the love you give. Don't change the love you give. Just change who you give it to. Like
boundaries. Boundaries. That's really, that's the highest form of self-love. Practice them. Empower yourself with them. Yeah. Love yourself harder with them, and be able to give your love more freely with them, because you won't be so scared to give your love if you only give it to the people that you're sure about, and like that have surpassed your just like what you expect from others in a general sense. And I'm not saying to assume that they're going to be that way. Let them make their own actions and show you who they are, but you should have certain expectations for your friendships, and if they don't meet that, then it's your time to reevaluate, and it ain't none to cut that bitch off. So I know it is. I know it's hard to cut people off. I'm not trying to make it like it ain't shit, because it is. But the more you do it, the happier you'll be. And I wish you the best of luck.
Period, poo. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, share, comment. Follow us on our socials. Everything will be linked down below. And we love you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.
Peace and love and blessings to all.